Hello and welcome all of you to my YouTube channel Animals and Pets with Partha. As you know, we have been dealing with the topic of dog shows and dog shows that are coming up in the coming show season. After the pandemic, we are trying to get back to normal life. We think that the pandemic is over and we are slowly going to sort of cruise ourselves into normal existence. Our dog shows are going to start once over again. And there are a lot of announcements that have already been made. The Indian National Kennel Club, of course, which is 60 odd years old, are going to take a renewed interest in organizing many dog shows in the western part of India and also in the other parts. Then we have the United Kennel Club, which is a new kennel club but has given a lot of promise to the people of the dog game in India. Then we have the Indian Kennel League, which is again promised a lot of dog shows to the dog-loving fraternity of this country. The pandemic, of course, has done us a lot of favors, and that is that we are now getting over the shock that we were in the last more than 2 decades with the dog game in India. The dog game in India was virtually controlled by a single syndicate. The syndicate which actually dictated the entire members of the board, including the chairman. And not only that, everything that happened in this dog world in India was controlled by this single syndicate. It was, well, as you know, it's money that makes the MARE go, and that is what has been happening. So a lot of money was being pumped into this syndicate, this one person. This one person controlled who would be the chairman, who would be the committee, and whatnot and whatnot. In fact, all the winnings of this dog world was controlled by this one individual, which is very shameful. If you disagreed, you'd be out, not only out of the game, but you have no respite even there. You had to be completely destroyed. That was the scenario. You would see that, judges from all across the world were coming in and tourist visa. And most of these judges, barring of course a few, there are a few good ones and honest ones who really don't want to be part of this corruption, but most of the judges who came in were actually tutored to put up certain dogs. And the certain number of people, a very close number of people from all across the country and who are running clubs, who've been judging or do whatever in the dog world, whether you're trainers or you're ring stewards or whatever, you had to have the blessings of the syndicate. And the entire dog game, entire dog shows was totally fixed. It was a drama. So, just imagine a situation where a person flies with a number of dogs from one part of the country to another, which is of course a mammoth expenditure, lakhs and lakhs of rupees. Then he takes in cheerleaders, then everything else. So unless you are completely pre-arranged that these dogs are going to travel from this part of the country to another, and you have already fixed with the organizers and the judges and everything that they are going to win 1, 2, 3, 4. You even knew which one would go 1, which one would go 2nd, which one would go 3rd and 4th, and etc. And then, of course, they joined in with the syndicate because you need more money. So, the placings, of course, if somebody had one dog, we said, okay, I pay up the more, so I get the number 1 position. So you are 2nd because you pay less. So like that, it's a syndicate that started, another syndicate that started to help this single person syndicate to have the entire dog shows of India cooked. And this message, of course, is known to the entire world. How shameful it is that we have been existing in this corrupt system and actually supporting it, of course, most people would say we were compelled to. Well, I don't know, but there are certain people, of course, including myself, who thought against that we should go to court against such corruption. We raised our voice, and of course, the obvious thing happened. We were just unceremoniously, we were suspended. Now this suspension, all of us challenged the matter in court, and we got injunction against this illegal suspension. Now what has happened is the term of this committee is over. There is nobody wanting to, the court has come down heavily. The Register of Societies has accepted the fact that there has been a lot of irregularities in the running of this club, and that a lot of money has been taken out which actually should not have gone from this organization to certain individuals. Now those individuals have been asked to refund the money to the society. And there are other rulings, of course, there are other matters that have been put on court. They're out of turn, judges, everything. Means whoever had to become whatever, a judge or anything over the last 2 decades or so, what they had to do was please the syndicate. They had to give in. Unless and until you do that, you are no way going to be approved, excepting, of course, a few who went against the system, and finally, after a lot of hardship, they may have managed, but that is, you can count them in fingers. But then majority of the dog game resigned to the fate that we will have to accept this corruption, that certain people, certain places, certain breeders, certain exhibitors have to win. And what is left over, then the others can share. Maybe a challenge certificate is possible in certain breed, maybe a group placement is possible in a certain breed where the syndicate is not proactive. So the syndicate actually had its sycophants and its tentacles all across this country's dog world. And then that is how that money was being pooled, and crores of rupees was generated just for the benefit of one person, his family and his friends. Now even our exchequer, the country's exchequer, the revenue also has been affected. There is a total ban on importation of dogs for the last decade or so. But the point is, dogs have been coming into this country, as we know, in hundreds. And maybe if there are only 5 or 10% which are actually registered, then you can imagine the actual number of dogs that must have come in. But they're all smuggled into this country. And the amount of money that is actually put into this smuggling of dogs is crores. A lot of these dogs, you must know today, that because India, people around the dog world, around the world, know that have a lot of money to spare. So there are lakhs and lakhs of rupees that actually are going in. Because this is unaccounted money. There is no, and the money is going out of this country through illegal ways, hawala, that's how they call it. So there is actually no limit to the amount that can be charged for a dog. There are a lot of people who have been cashing on this situation, and I would tell you, the minimum would be 5-10 lakhs. It goes up to 20, 30, 40, 50 lakhs, maybe a crore and more. It doesn't matter, because the money that is being sent out and the people who are buying these dogs have so much of money in excess of what is accounted for, that this is possible in a country like India. But what the government can do, which they have actually not really put a thought to it, is there are a lot of people who have registered dogs, and all these dogs are smuggled in. Once the government agencies care to check back on the addresses given on the documentation where they have been stamped as imported, they can find out the source of smuggling of the dogs into this country, and therefore whatever revenue, whatever taxation has to be imposed, that could be done accordingly.